Okay. Alright, hello everyone, this is Cs.SuperCumulo once again, and today I'm gonna shoutcast one of the recent games from FML Season 27. This game will be from round 1, I believe. This is the map Purity, which was one of the winners from the... Oops. It was one of the winners from the Mega World contest last year. So, we're gonna start off at the 12 o'clock position with the player Zs.SuperCumulo. I believe, yes, Zs.SuperCumulo. He's from Germany. He has been playing FML for quite some time now, since probably season 23. He's from Germany. He's from Germany, and he plays random. I think that human and undead are probably his best races, but definitely undead is his main race. I've seen him play solo and 2v2 with undead most of the time. In any case, he's at the 12 o'clock, and yes, he seems to be opening with a Fiend build, so let's see what happens with him. Then at the 9 o'clock, I'm sorry, at the 3 o'clock we have Arni Karate, who is from Finland. He is a random player as well, but this time he chose Night Elf, I believe, or maybe didn't pay attention to the loading screen. In any case, he got Night Elf, which is one of his best races in my opinion. I think that Night Elf and Orc are probably his main races, but yeah, Night Elf is a solid race for him. He's opening up with the Demon Hunter, and he's gonna go archers, maybe creep this green camp, orange camp, sorry, right here, and then he will move on to creep this other orange camp, the natural expansion. Alright, so going to the 6 o'clock we have ls.psike. He's from Peru. He is an undead player. He's opening up with ghouls, and he's new to the FML scene. He really joined just this season, unlike the other two players who have been playing FML for quite some time now, a couple of seasons already. So this guy probably doesn't have much of an idea about what FFA, about how FFA is played, so let's see how he does. Then finally at the 9 o'clock we have Head in the Clouds, who is also a member from clan LS from Peru. So we have two Peruvians here, and this guy also is new to FML, so it will be interesting to see if he brings up his solo style into this game. The game itself is not that long really, but let's see how these four players react with one another, since we have apparently two solo players, blue and purple, and two FFA players, red and teal, or the undead. But the undead is more of a solo FFA type of player, so he should be fine really. Okay, so we're gonna see that everyone is basically creeping at this point, and they just wanna creep their some of the green camps or maybe orange camps. We see here that Arnie crept this orange camp. It's the same way Head in the Clouds did it. Now they will most likely follow up with an expansion, which is what this Courage is going to do right here. The map is very well balanced in my opinion. It's a small map for 4 players only, and I think it favors, for what I've seen so far, it favors Night Elves and humans, but then again, anything can happen really, depends on who your opponent is. In any case, we see that ls.psike has decided to go in the counterclockwise direction. Usually people agree to expand clockwise on this map, so for instance, this Night Elf Arnie Karate, he would expand here at the 5 o'clock, and ls.psike should have expanded, since he's at the 6 o'clock, he should have expanded here at the 7 or 8 o'clock, and Psyche didn't decide to go on that direction. He decided to go counterclockwise, so let's see how Arnie reacts to this. Possibly he will try to creep this and maybe think that ls.psike is not going to continue harassing him, but apparently ls.psike is bringing all of the ghouls. Maybe he wants to finish up someone early on, and he thinks that he can do it with Arnie Karate, who isn't really a solo player, but I think that he's gonna lose a couple of units here. He may even be forced to TP out if he's not careful. He did get a kill, but he left the item, so that's a bummer for him, I guess. And now ls.psike is gonna finish up this and possibly get level 2 and the item as well. So we see here that this expansion apparently, I don't know, it got cancelled maybe. I don't know what happened here. No. So okay, so ls no sorry, Hitting the Clouds is putting up his expansion, and he's gonna move to maybe continue creeping right here at the center, maybe the Goblin Merchant or the Goblin Laboratory. But we see here that, well, uh, Scourge seems to, okay, he wants to continue creeping apparently, and for now we going back to, if we go back to the bottom part of the map, ls.psike, now he's happy with his level 2, and I don't know if he's going to, if he's going to expand. He is taking to tier 3, I'm sorry, to tier 2, but so far no expansions revealed for him, so I think that he's gonna play with just an average solo player. In any case, we see here that Hitting the Clouds is about to lose his expansion. His Courage is attacking with a couple of fiends, and he's pulling up his skeletons because he knows that the wisp is going to detonate. So now he's gonna bring these skeletons. Maybe, I don't know if he's gonna go ahead and attack the 9 o'clock or continue creeping. So apparently all this Courage did there was just deny the expansion, try to delay the Nidal from having his extra gold advantage. Since Hitting the Clouds is a solo player, and apparently so is the Scourge, maybe Scourge was a little bit afraid that this game could be very even for him if he didn't cancel this expansion. Now that the expansion was cancelled, Hitting the Clouds is attacking the Undead's expansion, and I don't think this will be enough to kill this expansion, especially in such a short map, a small map where you can walk with your units from your main to your expansion in no time. And he also has in the Rumen Tower here, so he should be fine really. Now he's bringing the ghouls, fiends, and skeletons, so in my opinion, Hitting the Clouds is going to lose here a couple of units, and he might even lose a Goblin Shredder. Let's see if that happens. No, it survived with 17 HP, so good for him. He still has his Goblin Shredder. He's gonna repair it, but he doesn't have an expansion yet, and even though both of these players seem to be at tier 2 already, I think that this game will be slightly, I mean this battle between the two will go slightly in favor of the Undead. And apparently the Night Elf somehow lost his Naga Witch, Sea Witch, so that was unexpected. Here Arnie Karate wanted to expand here at the 2 o'clock, but it was already taken, so he had to just move away from there. Okay, so Psike is putting up an expansion here. Psike did go counterclockwise, and Arnie Karate doesn't have an expansion, so he has to fight for this expansion. And I think that's what is going to happen now. In fact, Arnie Karate is now going to tier 3 because he knows that archers alone are not going to be enough. He needs bears and dryads, so that's what he's hoping for. As for Hitting the Clouds, Hitting the Clouds is staying at tier 2. He's gonna produce dryads, and maybe he's gonna fight with that. He's getting his Naga second. He's getting his Naga back, and after that I suppose he's gonna go to engage with the Undead. The Undead still has a couple of fiends, and he might lose 1 or 2, but I think he should be in good shape, especially with his expansion up and running. The Demon Hunter has boots. Yes, he does have boots. So I mean, he could get 2 fiends right here. He might actually get it, although the Cold Tower might cancel it. No, one more. Okay, no, never mind. He couldn't do it. In any case, the Night Elf is putting quite some pressure here, but not the Lich is out, and I think that's gonna be game changer. DH needs his second hero, and he also needs a couple more Dryads. That burn wasn't effective because it only burned 12 mana, but I guess it was worth trying. Here, Psike is bringing all of the ghouls to perhaps scare away the Night Elf, but he needs to put up a couple of towers and maybe a few more buildings in front so that this expansion is secure. Also, he should go tier 3, but he's still at tier 2, maybe waiting for more resources. In any case, the Undead is fighting the Night Elf, and the Night Elf has to be careful not to lose his heroes or anything. He does use a potion of healing, and he continues to go for the fiends. I don't think this is something that the Undead should be fighting, even though he has more units. He's gonna heal that fiend, and he might get these 2 Dryads, but better be careful not to lose his heroes. So far it's looking good for the Undead, but I think he should transition. Yep, he's gonna go tier 3 and maybe add Destroyers or Abominations to his army. now that he's in the clouds, he has his expansion up, he just needs the wisps, and after that he needs to hold with dryads and bears. He's still at tier 2, so that's a little bit worrying. He does need tier 3 ASAP. 4 fiends versus 3 dryads and 2 heroes. I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Well, 4 dryads, but one of them is almost dead. It would be better if he moves his AOW, but it's gonna take a while for this to get here. So he just needs to wait, I guess. In the meantime, we see that Psyche is using most of his ghouls to harvest lumber, but he keeps them here just to defend this expansion. So both players are playing aggressively, and this seems to be like 2 independent 1v1s. The Shredder might actually go down here. There is no way for it to survive, although yep, it's gonna go down. So 1 feed for 1 Shredder, and maybe this Dryad will go down as well. The AOW is still walking here to possibly defend or do something. The Undead is actually focusing on the Naga, and with enough, and I think the Naga will go down because of the movement speed from the Dead Knight. And now here with a statue block, the Undead will be able to save the Lich at level 2, so not bad really. We do see here that the Undead is still popping skeletons rather than necromancers, and I think this fiend might go down due to the Dryads. So this Courage has to be careful not to continue losing units like this, because Dryads and Decay are actually they can pick off units one by one very quickly. Here we're gonna see that he's gonna probably try to block. No, never mind, he couldn't. Nice use of burn mana, so it looks like it's going slightly in favor of the Night Elf right here. But again, the Undead does have the advantage because of the early expansion, and now well, now it looks like it might be okay for the Undead. I'm sorry, for the Night Elf, due to the fact that he has an AOW here, and he is probably going tier 3, producing more Dryads, so he should be fine. But with the Orb of Corruption, I don't know how much difference that will make. He has to be careful not to lose his heroes. He does have some units, so he should be okay, theoretically. Okay, going back to the bottom here, we see that Arnikarate is pushing with archers and bears and everything else. I think that these many wolves are not going to be enough. He needs to focus them. He needs to use them to focus the archers rather than the bears. But here with the towers and the fiends and everything else, yeah, I think that they might be okay. Let's see how he does here. He needs to make sure that, okay, I think the panda might go down, but he needs to focus the archers with the ghouls. And let's see how the Undead does here. It would be better if the Undead had a couple of destroyers, but maybe he's not tier 3 yet. He has to be careful not to lose his decay. I think that with these towers, the Undead really should be fine. Going back to the top, we see that the Demon Hunter is trying to fight against a tri-hero Undead, and it looks like it's gonna work out for the Undead. I mean, the Undead could just coil, but never mind, he let the hero run away. As for that Naga, the Naga might go down here with a coil. I think that she will go down. Yep, she does go down. So here, 1 Fiend and 3 Undead heroes are gonna be enough to possibly bring down this expansion. The Night Elf is trying to heal, but he needs either more will wells or a bear just to heal up completely. He's trying to do something with the Dryads, but the Dryads alone are not really gonna cut it. He needs bears and the Naga just to provide that to reduce the movement speed. Demon Hunter here at half HP is not gonna be enough really, and that even with these few units at 50 should be enough really to stop this type of army, especially when the Demon Hunter is at half HP. So this expansion will go down, and after that I think it's going to snowball into the demise of the Night Elf. The Night Elf cannot really defend this expansion, and once the Undead adds more Abos and more Fiends, I think that it will go terribly wrong for him. So basically, even though this game is an FFA game, it's not looking like one really, due to the fact that people are playing more of a solo style. Psyche is putting up here a slaughterhouse in front of the tower so that he can maintain this expansion, and since Arnie knows that he will probably switch targets, he's gonna stop trying to get this expansion and might go for the main base, which is almost empty really. Psyche is going Necromancer, so let's see how that works out for him. As for Discourage, he does have, let's see, what's his population size? He's a 65 out of 80, so not bad. If he adds a couple of destroyers and one frostworm, that would be 80 out of 80, and with that, that should be enough to defeat a couple of Dryads and Bears. The Night Elf is still at 47, and he might get level 5 out of this, but even with that, it's not gonna be enough. Actually, he might lose his hero. Yep, he lost his hero because he got stoned by the rock golem. That's bad. And now the undead actually hits his main base, so this is going terribly wrong for the Night Elf. Night Elf might have gotten cocky there, and he's gonna lose his main base now. In the meantime, we see that Arnie Karate is actually pushing the undead space, and this might be enough really to bring it down. Even with 2 towers here, the undead really has not much to defend against this. Let's see how he does here. He only has 3 fiends, 2 necromancers, and almost, well, 4 ghouls, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. In any case, here the panda is gonna do his work against the acolytes and the cigarettes. Never mind. We see here that he does have 4 fiends, but that's not gonna be enough against these many bears and dryads and archers. But the necromancers actually can play a favor, so can play a role in favor of the undead, since the skeleton mages do. I mean, fighting necromancers can be difficult, especially when you don't have area AoE dispel. So here the undead is actually trying to defend the best of his ability, but he loses the lich immediately. And now that DK might follow, never mind, he does use ATP, and he seems to be doing okay due to the necromancers. But now the Night Elves might actually back up and possibly regroup or something. As for the elf from the 9 o'clock, he now has bears, but it seems like it's too late. With so many disables and the frost armor, the Night Elf now stands no chance against the undead. In fact, he will lose all of his units, possibly even his hero. Yep, now that the frostworm is here, he's gonna lose his DH as well, and now he's using some statue block, but that's not gonna be enough. I mean, he can just kill it right here. After that, he will probably lose his main base, and I think that Teal, with 1 expansion here and another one here, which is about to go up, he should be in good position to win the game. Here, the Keepers of the Grove might go down along with the DK. Actually, never mind. Nice stuff there by Arnie, saving the Keepers of the Grove and managing to kill both heroes, the DK and the Dreadlord. Also, all of these necromancers in the red falling apart, sorry, and it looks like Arnie Karate finally won the 1v1, and he's gonna recover this expansion and possibly even kill the undead's main base. Also, the hero levels are not bad for Arnie, level 5, almost 4, and level 3 and level 2, while the other undead is at level 5, level 3 and level 3, so almost even, but I think that the undead is doing slightly better because he has a better army composition, probably more gold. Let's see, he has 2000 gold, while the Night Elf from the 3 o'clock has only 400 gold, so definitely going in favor of the undead. And let's see how Arnie reacts to this, because Arnie has probably zero idea about the other side of the map. Okay, so Arnie with 6-5 bears and a couple of dryads. I don't know if Arnie has what it takes to defeat a solo player whose main race is undead, such as Discourage. Here they seem to be talking about. I mean, Discourage seems to be manipulating against Blue. Blue is clearly dead, so this is something that people usually do. They almost defeat their opponent, their first rival, but they don't really finish them off. Like here, Discourage could have killed completely Head in the Clouds, but he's letting him live so that these two, red and purple, do not stop fighting. So basically, what he's going to do here, he's gonna continue with his 80 army, and then he's gonna try to get his other expansion, and after that he's gonna come back and finish off Heading the Clouds. Now, due to the fact that Heading the Clouds is new in FML and he really doesn't talk much, he doesn't know much about manipulation, because in 1v1 manipulation is really a non-factor, you don't use it at all. um, you really don't need to talk much, and that is a habit that solo players do have, that they don't need to talk during the game. And in this case, Arnica is going to finish Psyche, although Psyche could still be hiding here. He does have a Black Citadel with 2 Spirit Towers in the way. Maybe that should be enough to delay the inevitable, but eventually the Night Elf should win this. In the meantime, we see that the Undead is actually creeping the remaining gold mines, and he's gonna get probably up to level 4.5 and 4.5, or maybe even 5 and 4. So that's gonna give him a huge lead over the other players, especially over Red, who, even though he has decent hero levels, he will not have enough resources and enough expansions to recover, even if he loses a fight. So the Undead is actually playing it right. He's just buying time, he's continue creeping, getting more gold items, and he will eventually win the game if this continues. Now, Arnik already decided to back, so he's gonna go probably for this expansion right here, at the 5 o'clock, and that will give him some air. But if the Undead pushes him now, I think that Arnie will be in deep trouble. Especially because he's not even at 80. Well, he's 77, but his army doesn't look like 80. It looks more like 66 to me. And he just got his first expansion, so he's far behind. And Heading the Clouds is basically dead at this point. He's trying to creep with 1 hero and 1 bear, but that's gonna take a long time. Maybe we'll see that Discourage will finish off Heading the Clouds, and after that he will proceed with the other players. So in the meantime, Discourage is actually trying to manipulate, trying to chat, and just to I guess, I mean, basically chatting is basically manipulating, but by saying, hey, how's it going, it's like trying to make him look like he's not really a threat. I mean, Arnie, are you okay? I mean, that's just clear. When someone asks you about your well-being, it's because they really don't give a shit, and they just wanna. I'm talking in FFA, of course, but it's just pure manipulation right there. In any case, Arnie did lose 2 bears, I think, due to the clap from the granite golem. So I don't know if that was intentional, but he really cannot afford to be losing units, especially when he only has 1 expansion. Now he's probably, maybe he wanted Dryas instead of bears. He still has purple as his neighbor, so maybe Arnie didn't want to finish him because he thinks that he could use purple as a friend against one of the other 2 players, either the Undead or the other Night Elf. I don't know if Arnie knows about the situation of Heading the Clouds. Heading the Clouds is basically dead. He has no base really, and for what it looks like, I mean, Teal has been creeping the rest of the map, and now that the map is basically clear out, he will probably go and finish off someone. We see here that Arnie did send a furball there to harass this expansion, and maybe this is going to trigger Discourage to go for Arnie. And now at the same time, Arnie is gonna hit the Undead. Maybe he's not reading the chat anymore, and he did forget about this furball or summon unit. We are winning anyway. Yep. So basically here, Arnie is maybe not sure about who to hit. We see here that Purple is still turtling in his base. He doesn't want to go out. In this engagement, I think that it would be very difficult for Arnie because there are towers, there are frost worms, there are necromancers. It's not going to be easy for Arnie. Arnie decides to go for the undead, but at the same time we see that the other undead is going in the direction of Arnie. So this is a bad timing for Arnie to hit. Maybe the lack of scouting from him yes, that the lack of scouting is what is causing him to play like this. He didn't scout, and now he's gonna TP in a terrible position against an undead who just has basically levels 5, and he's gonna right click the panda, and the panda is almost out. And with all of his units like this, he's gonna lose them one by one very quickly. The panda with anti-magic shield, and the Dry is trying to focus on the frost worms. Arnie is trying to do whatever he can, but against these high level undead heroes, the nuke is gonna be so strong, and the heroes alone will carry the game, in my opinion. The frost worm heal right there, and the Dryas falling one by one. After this, I think that Arnie has nothing left. He has an expansion in almost 2,000 gold, but I mean, if he's careful, he can lose everything right here. The Frostworm barely alive, and Arnie loses everything. He says to everyone to attack Teal, but I don't know. I don't think Heading the Clouds can do anything about it. And the other guy, Psyche, since Arnie was attacking him, Psyche did react, and now Psyche cleaned his expansion, Arnie's expansion at the 5 o'clock, and then this other expansion will go down as well. So Psyche right there, just playing without scouting or anything, and goes against Arnie's expansion. If Psyche knew about this, that the undead is storming Arnie, then Psyche would probably go in on the other direction. And now we see here that Heading the Clouds apparently did read the chat and is harassing Discourage, so this could be a 2 versus 1 for now. Nevertheless, with the hero levels from the undead, I think that the undead really should be fine. He has many expansions, lots of gold. Yep, 8.5 thousand gold. So that's quite a lot, and that should be enough to pump back to 80 or even 100 and finish this game once and for all. Here we see that the undead is trying to actually finish off Arnie. Arnie knows that he's very vulnerable now, and there's no way for him to defend. And Psyche may have scouted with a shade, I don't know, but now that he sees Arnie is basically naked, he's gonna finish him off right here. Arnie did buy back his panda, and the panda might try to defend, but I don't think that's gonna be enough, since this player, Psyche, is not an FFA player and doesn't really chat that much. I don't think he's gonna pay attention to all of that talk that Arnie is doing. For solo players, no matter how much you talk, they just will not care. For FFA players, they might consider it, but yeah, this could very well be the end of Arnie. In the meantime, we see that the other undead, is Discouraged, is actually going to finish off Heading the Clouds, because Heading the Clouds will continue to annoy him with this kind of harassment. We see here that that Discouraged is putting up lots of cigarettes, so that's gonna prevent in some way the harassment from the elf, but I don't think that's gonna matter. I mean, the elf is gonna be out very soon. So we see that Arnie is losing all of his base, and for some reason the undead is tipping out of there. I don't know why. That was strange. I think that he might have read the chat from Blue, and he probably wants to switch targets, or maybe he was about to lose his Death Knight, so that's why he TP'd out. Who knows? In any case, it looks like the game is almost decided. Psyche did put up another expansion here at the 5 o'clock, but that's not gonna be enough, especially because he only has what? Well, 1,000 gold and a couple of necromancers with levels 3, 2, and 2 against what? Against probably 10,000 gold heroes level 6, 5, and 5, almost 6. So basically, 666 undead hero levels versus level 3, 2, and 2. That's just not gonna be enough. So basically, this undead is useless. Arnie is useless, and then in the clouds is also useless. So basically 3 useless players versus say 1 solid player. At this point it's very clear who's gonna win this game. Yeah, I mean, Demon Hunt, even if they try to do a 3 versus 1 against the nuking from these undead hero levels, it's not gonna be enough. Not to mention that the undead is still at 78 and he hasn't even broken up to 100, and he has his main base empty here, so he still has some gold to continue mining up to 2000. So I suppose that this should be over because the undead has a huge lead. He only needs really 80, he doesn't need 100, and he can just slow you down with the frost worms and continue and do that Nova, Karam Swarm, Coil Nova, all that fun stuff where you just want to alt QQ. With that being said, it looks like Head in the Clouds might be out soon. This is his last expansion, his last base, and after that it should be over. I mean, Head in the Clouds does have 3000 gold, 3.6 to be exact, but that's really not gonna be enough. He's gonna lose all of his wisps, and after he loses this, I believe it's over for him. Head in the Clouds is here harassing the 1 o'clock expansion, and Arnie in the meantime, with only 400 gold and no expansion, he's gonna try to defend his base, but all he can hope for really at this point is just not to finish 4th. What is this thing called? Death and Decay is on 2 Moonwells, the Tree of Life, Tree of Ages, and the Hunter's Hall. All of these units are gonna go down at the same time, and once that happens, I believe Head in the Clouds will be out. Yeah, Head in the Clouds is out. So
player's forces are under attack.
With that, we have now Arnie and Psike. Arnie does have very little indeed, only 2 bears and what? Only 2 bears and 3 heroes, nothing else. He's trying to move his Tree of Life, sorry, his Tree of Eternity, maybe to the 1 o'clock to mine something, but now Psike comes here and attack. Maybe Psike wants to get some experience so that he doesn't finish 4th. Let's see if that's gonna be possible. So basically, instead of doing a 2 versus 1 against the other undead, Discourage, which I think will have very little effect, but instead of working together, Psike decides to finish off Arnie completely so that he can get some points and maybe not finish 4th. We see here that Arnie is actually trying to harass his expansion, but that's not going to be enough, and I think that Arnie will most likely lose his heroes. He ends up leaving because he knows that he stands no chance against the undead heroes. And here Psike actually trying to finish off the remaining of these buildings, but that's kind of pointless really. At this point, Head in the Clouds, I'm sorry, the Scourge just has the game won. He has 9k gold, I'm sorry, 10k gold, and he has 3 expansions against 1 expansion with only 50 gold. So once these 2 guys fight, it is clearly that Head in the Clouds, but no, not Head in the Clouds, the Scourge will be the clear winner. He does have only 2 Frostworms, 2 Fiends, 1 Abo, but the hero levels are just enough really to carry this, even though this army is a little bit scary. Yes, the undead should have enough to win, especially with destroyers now to deny the necromancers. We see that this Scourge is going straight for the hero, and the Lich goes down. Now the Infernal Stone goes down. He's actually focusing only the heroes. That's what he's going for. He's gonna use all of his power just to kill the heroes, and once the heroes are down, he's gonna go for the fiends 1 by 1 most likely. He does use the power magic right there to cancel all of the necromancers, skeletons, and he's now going for units 1 by 1, fiends down, and after that maybe necromancers or even the Death Knight. So Psike is basically losing everything here. There is a lot of heavy air for the undead. He has to heal the Lich. He does heal the Lich, and after this it looks like Psike will call GG because this is clearly over for him. So now that he loses the Death Knight, let's see, no, he did lose his last Frostworm, and now the Death Knight is basically going to go down. Just 1 good Nova and it's down. So yes. Alright, so that should be it for today. I mean, for the game. Yes, he does call GG, and that's game. So let's see what we have here. We have Scourge first place, second place Arnie, slightly better than Heading the Clouds with 37,000 points in the here total score. So yeah, Heading the Clouds third and Psyche fourth, which means that Scourge gets 22 points. These two fellas, red and blue, they get 12 points, and purple only gets 10 points. Okay, so that was another short game from this season. I believe this was match 3. I'll be uploading this on YouTube later, and yeah, maybe I can shoutcast another one from round 2. Hopefully, Warpix also uploads one of the games that he recently shoutcasted, and with that we can build something for this season. Alright, thanks everyone for listening, and have a good day. Bye bye.